So as we spoke, today is the second part of the Kaddish. What we spoke in the first part of the Kaddish, we explained where is the source for the Kaddish. We explained the different amount of Kaddishim that there is, how many Kaddishim. We expressed also and we explained the praise and the glorified that we say in the Kaddish. We explained also in the previous shi'ur why do we say the Kaddishim. I just want to add up one thing that I see that you people ask regarding the big Kaddish. The big Kaddish that we say that we're saying it usually when there is a Siyum Masechet or Lo Alenu, when they bury the deceased and we're doing Tziduk Adin. But in a day that we don't do Tahanun, then we don't do Tziduk Adin. Otherwise, we do Tziduk Adin and then we say the long Kaddish. There is some people say that here in South Africa they do Tziduk Adin but they don't say the long Kaddish. So it's a different minhagim. Today I'm going to speak with the source that a Mona have to say the Kaddish. Where it's come that the Monas have to say Kaddish, number one, where is the source for it? I'm going to bring the source. How does the Mona does benefit from the Kaddish? Okay, that what is he gaining from it? Not only that, we're going to explain that for how many years that we have to say Kaddish. Why do we say Kaddish? And the most important thing is that we say that I'm going to try to explain when is the Yortzai day and how do we decide when is the Yortzai day that we say the Kaddish. So בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. It's the second part of the Kaddish. So where is the source that the Mona have to say Kaddish? The source come from a story in the book of Eliyahu Zuta in chapter 17, and the story go like this. The story go that Rabbi Akiva, the famous great Rabbi Akiva that we know, he was traveling, and while he was walking, he saw a person that looked very strange to him, number one, but he saw a person that didn't look like really a living person, and that person was going and collecting wood. And he collect wood, and he collect wood. The amount of wood that he was collecting, not normal human being can collect. A matter of fact, not many animals can carry that amount of wood, and he used to carry it on his back. And when Rabbi Akiva saw that act, he was very surprised, and in the book of Eliyahu Zuta, it said that he called that person. And that person didn't answer him for some reason. And when he didn't answer him, Rabbi Akiva tried again, number of times, but he didn't answer. And then Rabbi Akiva, a matter of fact, told him that he taken an oath that he have to explain to him who he is. And that person did listen to Rabbi Akiva. And what happened? He explained to Rabbi Akiva that he is a matter of fact, not a human being, not a living human being. And he passed away. And a matter of fact, he's in Gehenna, he's not from this world. And Rabbi Akiva said to him, so what are you doing? He said that he collecting every day wood, and when he collect that wood, he take it, and they make a fire from that wood, and they burn him until it become an ash. And the same thing happen every day. He collect wood, they put him inside a fire, they burn him alive until he become ash, then they create him again, day by day. Can you imagine that? So Rabbi Akiva, when he heard that, he was a bit shocked. So he said to him, why do they punish you in such a way? Did you hear? He said to him that the main reason that he gets punished because he have a forbidden relationship with engaged woman. In the olden days, the engagement was like a wedding. It's considered like a wedding until the groom and the bride collect enough money for to bring it together, and then they can get married, what you call it here in normal local language, la bola. That's what consider as the engagement, not the engagement that we have nowadays. And he had a forbidden relationship with her, and that's one of the things that he get punished. Okay, Rabbi Akiva said to him, tell me, in that case, did you have any atonement? Can you do any atonement? Is any way that you can do atonement for that punishment? He said, listen, all I heard, if my son will say, Baruch Hu et Hashem Amvorach, Baruch Hashem Amvorach, okay, that will help him to get out of Gehenna. Okay, Rabbi Akiva asked him, did you leave children? Do you have a family? He said, look, I have a wife. I'm from the north of Israel. I have a wife. When I left her, I think that she was pregnant. I'm not sure. And that's her name. Okay, he given him a name. He gave him his name. He given her name. Okay. Rabbi Akiva gone to the north, Hazal tell us. And in the north, he asked the people, listen, do you know this man? As he mentioned the name, everyone was swearing and cursing and said, don't mention that name. That person was such a horrible man and blah, blah, blah. He said, you know his wife? He said that she's even worse than him. And they start cursing. He said, where does she live? She said, go straight in the end of that corner, you'll find her there. Anyway, they given him the address, he gone there and he met with her. And he told her the story and he asked her, listen, tell me, do you have a son? She said, yes, I have a son. I don't see him a lot because he worked for the butcher and I don't want to see him and I don't want to hear about him. So imagine what situation Rabbi Akiva put himself into. In the end, Rabbi Akiva gone to see the son. When he gone to the butchery, what he saw in the front of him, he saw a Mohican. And Rabbi Akiva spoke to him. He saw that he's speaking to a wall. The man can't read, can't write, completely illiterate, can't understand what you're talking about. Rabbi Akiva tried to teach him to answer Baruch Hu, Amen. Nothing penetrated. Can you imagine? Rabbi Akiva, Hazal say that fasted for that person for 40 days and 40 nights. And after that, and he davened for that boy, after he fasted for that boy, that he asked mercy from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that they open for him a bit of his brain to understand what's happening. And that little boy start to understand. And now he can read, he can say Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, he can say Baruch Hu et Hashem Amvorach. Rabbi Akiva taught them also to say Amen Yehe Shemei Rabbam, and etc. And he helped him. And then Rabbi Akiva left him, and he gone back. The times go by, Rabbi Akiva sleeping at night, and in his dream he see that man, the original man, that he saw collecting the wood, coming in his dream. And in his dream he's smiling, and he said to him, Rabbi Akiva, like this, Keshem shesimahtani, the same like you make me happy, from Shamayim isamchucha. That means, כמו ששימחתני, כך ישמחו אותך משמיים. That means the same like you make me happy, from heaven they'll make you happy. What does it mean? That from here we learn that by that his son learned to say Amen Yeh Shemei Rabbah, they took the father out of Gehenna. And he said, Keshem shesimachtan, the same like you make me happy that they took me out of Gehenna, kacha yisamchu otcha mishamayim, the same that will make you happy. So we learn from here that the source of the Kaddish come from that story when we say Amen Yeh Shemei Rabbah. In the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, in Daf Kuf Yutet Amud Bet. Hazal tell us in Gemara, page 119, folio 2. It says like this: כל האומר אמן יהא שמי רבה בכל כוחו קוראים לו גזר דין של 70 שנה. I will explain. That means that the Gemara tell us, Hazal tell us in Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in page 119, folio 2. Whoever say Amen Yehe Shemei Rabba Bechol Koho, what it means Bechol Koho? Hazal say with the full thought. They erase a decree of 70 years. In a book that called Sefer HaHaim, Sefer HaHaim, it's a book that's written by Rabbi Haim Betzalel. Rabbi Haim Betzalel was the brother of the Maharal, the Maharal mi Prague. And he say like this: by that the person saying a Kaddish on the father, he basically justified what's happened with his father or with the parents or with his relative. And by that he justifies and glorifies the Kadosh Baruch Hu, about I listen to that, that's what helping the neshama to go up. What it means to go up? That means that helping the neshama to take it out of Gehenna. So by that we saying Kaddish, we justify what happened with the niftar, with the deceased. By that we saying it, the uplift the neshama, where the uplifting it to a higher level to come out of Gehenna. And that's why we say Kaddish on a niftar, on a deceased. The Rivash, Beshut Rivash, Shut, it means She'elot u'Tshuvot. Rivash was Rabbi Yehuda Bar Sheshet. Okay, in Siman Kuf Tavav, that means 115, there he said that there is a minhag to say the Kaddish for 12 months. That means we learn that to say Kaddish, the time that we have to say Kaddish, it's for 12 months. And where do we learn that? Where do we learn that it have to see that we have to say a Kaddish for 12 months? So the source for it, a matter of fact, come from the Gemara in Masechet Berachot, Nun Het Amud Bet, that means 58 folio 2. And there say Rav say, אין המת משתכח מהלב אלא לאחר 12 חודש. That means that a deceased, when a mourner starts to feel that he eased, it's much easier for him to start forgetting all the difficulty after 12 months. So we learn from here that it takes 12 months to forget the deceased. And that's why we say Kaddish for 12 months. That's the main reason. Other source to it, it's come from the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in page 152, folio 1. That means Kuf Nun Bet, Amud Aleph, yes, Kuf Nun Bet, 152, folio 1. There it says, Mishpat Tzadikim Begehenam 12 Chodesh. That means that we're learning from here, the judgment of Rashaim is at 12 months. Mishpat Rashaim 12 Chodesh. That's another reason why we're saying Kaddish for 12 months. Okay. Another explanation, how does it help the deceased? So we say that the Kaddish that the person have to say about the deceased, it's for 12 months. Please God, in the next show we'll explain, is it full 12 months? There's a different opinion, because the Ashkenazim do 11 months, they stop 4 months, and then on the Yod side of the 12 months, they do again saying Kaddish. The Sfaradim say for 11 full months, the same like the Ashkenazim. They stop for a week saying Kaddish, and then they continue until the end of the year to say Kaddish. So we learn from here that Lechatchila, a person should say Kaddish for 12 months. Now, we have to understand, how is that help the deceased, the Kaddish? Because the Kaddish, as we explained in the previous show, doesn't mention anything about the deceased. The Kaddish, it's all a prayer that we praise the Kadosh Baruch Hu and we glorify the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So how does it help? So it's like this. The explanation that I'm going to bring, it's again what Rabbi Chaim ben Betzalel, the brother of the Maharal Miprak, say, and he bringing it in his book, Sefer HaHaim, and he said like this, in chapter 2, verse 10, he said like this, that the main reason that we say Kaddish on Odysseus, because we have to understand that most of the people in the world, the reason that they pass away is because they're doing Hilul Hashem, the desecrating the name of the Almighty. And the atonement that a person can do for desecrating the name of the Almighty is only by Has v'Shalom Mita, after he passed away, after 120. And because of that he do atonement, that he died, when we say a Kaddish on a Niftar, on a deceased, we actually sanctify the name of the Almighty in public, because we say Kaddish, you need at least 10. And when we say Kaddish, we accepting the verdict that why he been punished, and that's doing atonement to the deceased, to the Niftar, and that's how the Kaddish help. So I'll explain it more simply. That means that a person died because Hilul Hashem. By that we say Kaddish, we sanctify the name of Hashem. We're doing a correction to desecrate of the name of Hashem that every human being has v'shalom do, and by that what we sanctify the name of Hashem, that's helped the Niftar to do atonement to his sin, and that's why we say Kaddish. Okay, so now we understand how the Kaddish help a Niftar. Ari HaKadosh say that the Kaddish on the first year of the Yortzeit, it's to help, number one, to lift up the neshama of the deceased, to take it out from Gehenna to Gan Eden. But after the first year, from now onwards, after the full year, every time on a Yortzeit when we say Kaddish, what does that do? That's help to lift the neshama to a higher level in Gan Eden. Now I need to explain that. What does it mean? Gan Eden is Gan Eden, everyone will say. What difference does it make? Where? It does make a difference. And I'll tell you why. Because in Gan Eden, our neshama come closer to the Almighty. And as much that we're closer to the Almighty, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're feeling more connected. Analogy for us, lehavdil, lehavdil, elef alfei avdalot, 100 times different. It's go like this. When we go and we sit in a stadium, and in a stadium there is different seats, as you all know, and the stadium is big. As much that you sit further from the front, you see everything smaller. That means if you sit right on the top of the stadium, you see the actors or the players very, very small, you hardly can see them. But as much that you sit closer to the main stage, you can see the actors, you can see the players much clearer, much nicer, you can see them close to you. That's me. When we say Kaddish after the first year and a day of the Yortzeit, it's help to lift the neshama to come closer to the Almighty. From one level to a higher level to a higher level, to come closer to reach to the Almighty. Now how do we decide when we're saying the Kaddish? So the Kaddish, number one, we have to make sure it's from the day that the person passed away. When a person passes away, that's when we decide that that's the yortzeit. That means if a person dies on, let's say, on the 20 or the 13th of the month, or let's take it, whichever month is it, 12 months later on the same day, that's a yortzeit. It doesn't make a difference when he been buried. The most important, when he passed away. And that's how we decide when is the yortzeit.